Oh, it wasn't fun. Wasn't fun. Guys, we are in game. Thank you for staying tuned, obviously. We just had to set up and get that ready to go again. We have to the bottom left-hand side of the map. Our right Terran player from Dust Gaming is going to be Bunny. And his opponent to the top right-hand side of the map is going to be Purple Zerg player Dark. Who has more downtime, Wardy or Base Trade TV? Imagine that, guys. Imagine we have to wait for players. Imagine that me and Base Trade TV, imagine that we run these tournaments where we jump in and out of the series all the time, and that sometimes things happen, and sometimes we have to wait for a series to be ready, or players to veto, or players to BRB. Imagine that. Isn't that just crazy? That's almost, I mean, that's almost unacceptable, I would say. What's up, Dark as the Void? How you doing? But, yeah, hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's having a good time. And if you're enjoying the stream, do make sure you hit the follow button so you want to go live again in the future. As well as that, you can also support the stream as well. I haven't said that yet today. Of course, if you do enjoy the stream a lot, you can subscribe to the channel. You can donate directly. We do send out replay packs. There's a big replay pack from January available right now to any subs. So want to get your hands on 400 plus replays. I think it's 350 replays of players like you know, they have WardiTV weekly matches in, so Bjorn's, Est, Innovation, all sorts of matches. If you want to get your hands on that replay pack, feel free to sub, and I can send it over to you during the breaks. Otherwise, there's a whole bunch of other benefits. We'll have another sub tourney sometime this month, and so much more. Anyways, we set up into this ZvT right now. Look to see how things will go. There is a gas pool opening here from Dark right away. So he's going to open with his gas pool nice and quick, and then into the hatchery. So gas pool hatch from Dark to begin with right now. And he's just going to get a little bit of a faster Zergling speed. It keeps him a little bit safer. And, yeah, just going to be, just keeps him a little bit safer. Just kind of lets him open a little bit more kind of, not going to die to anything sort of style, I guess. Bit of a bad way to summarize it, but it's kind of true. There is going to be, by the way, probably, I mean, there's potential for a Rotron to come down as well. And that's something which we might see from Dark. He is definitely someone who likes to do some sneaky, weird little builds now and then. With all the gas he is mining, I mean, there's definitely potential for something a little bit different right now, because he hasn't pulled out a gas just yet. And we're going to see a couple of workers do pull out, and he is going to kind of look at his gas count now, but he's already got a lot of it, 150 in the bank, but no use for it just yet. As we do see the setup here from Bunny, just going to be the good old 2-1-1. Definitely has fallen out of fashion a little bit lately. The 2-1-1 build order. So, yeah, definitely has fallen out of fashion a little bit, but still a solid build. Still puts you into a decent position if you play it out correctly. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what's going to happen. Shouldn't Dark have a delay too, because we have a delay? Well, obviously he wants to stream it and take the risk of streaming it from his point of view and risk being stream cheated on. That's his choice. I mean, it's not like we can't just turn off the delay for one game, basically. That involves resetting the stream, so it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to do that. So, yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, if players want to stream their point of views without delay, that's completely fine by me. Just, it's on them if they then want to, get stream cheated against. I mean, we only run with delays because it just means that no one can accuse people of stream cheating or anything like that. So, that's something that's pretty standard in tournaments, obviously. It's kind of not so bad anymore, we only have a 90-second delay. We only have like a 90-second delay for a lot of the cups nowadays, like Go for SE2, this event has a 90-second delay. A lot of online stuff uses 90-second delay, which honestly, as a delay, isn't so bad. It's not, it's obviously not as nice as having a no delay in terms of talking to the chat and all the rest, but yeah, it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. Anyways, just see the setup here initially. I mean, 8 drones, 9 drone, 10 drone lead. Pretty standard for the double CC being up. Obviously, at some point soon, Dark, and there it is, a few Zerglings will have to be made to make sure you can defend against this incoming drop as Bunny lifts up and he starts to head out onto the map. So Bunny heading up towards the top side, look to see what he can get up to. And we'll just be moving forwards in the next few moments to see what is going on. So we've seen Bunny coming across the top right now and heading in towards the main base in a moment or two. Going to be dropping on down, and yeah, we're going to be seeing the Lair and the Bane Nest just on the way up from Dark as well. So, Lair and the Bane Nest is coming down. We're going to see these Marines starting to drop actually on the edge, and kind of sits around and fights here for a moment or so. Queens are doing damage and does eventually force these couple of medevacs away a little bit. So, a couple of these medevacs get forced back over the left-hand side just slightly here. And as long as Queens do just gather together from Dark and get set to go once again. So, they're going to get set to go. The Lair about halfway done right now. Going to have another Evo Chamber about to finish up. He went for the Carapace opening, which means that the Carapace early definitely helps you out a lot. Because of the fact that you're generally always going to be taking damage against the range units with your melee units rather than doing damage yourself. And that will help him kind of clean up for, next attacks kind of a bit more easily. Intrigued to see how this works out, though, because he's got a tank brought into this as well. It's a very kind of technical build being executed here by Bunny right now. There's Marines starting to unload up on the high ground. Marines starting to unload. Queen's actually talking down one medevac already, though. Dark's going to get a second medevac, too, and that is going to be a very nice shutdown here, because now you can push forwards, and, honestly, you can probably fight against the this a lot more easily. I mean, there's only so many Marines left over. Ling's actually run around to the low ground, and only 3 Marines and 1 medevac are going to survive this. This was a complete shutdown by Dark. Wasn't even close. This was completely shut down all the way through. As we're going to be seeing these few Marines just moving down the right-hand side, just going to start loading from the medevac. Guys, we're getting a few little drops here and there, a few frame drops on the stream, but also a little bit of lag in game, so I do apologize if it's affecting your viewing experience. Sorry for the issues it might come about. I think it should be okay. I don't think it's too major, but I can see it happening, so apologies. Anyway, Spire on the way up, so Dark going towards the next stage of the game for himself right now as the 1-1 upgrades from the Terran player starting to come out as well. So we're going to see the 1-1 upgrades coming on out. A couple of Widow Mines on the way from the main base, as well as a couple of medevacs too. Going up to the 5 racks means he's on his mid-game production, and he can play forward from this point quite comfortably. I mean, it's not a bad position to be in, it's just the problem is he lost so much early. And having lost so much earlier means that from this point on, it's going to be so much more difficult for him to realistically stay in this game in the mid-game, as Dark will continue to macro. He's getting his Bane speed, his upgrades keep rolling on in. He's got the Spire about to finish, so Mutas will be on the map. And Bunny has to fight against all of this from a deficit of having lost so much so inefficiently early on. And that is really, really kind of going to hurt him. Now, a few Marines and a couple of Widow Mines push forward. He's going to set these up aggressively. I mean, Dark was banking money for for the Mutalisks here a few moments ago, so it's not like he's having the most units on the map possible right now. He could have had a lot more, but he wanted to save up minerals and gas so he could make multiple Mutalisks when that Spire finished, which is what he's doing right now. 6 of them on the way. As we're going to see those 2 Widow Mines getting cleaned out pretty swiftly as the Overseer comes in as well. This attack was held off pretty easily. I mean, a little bit of creep spread denied, but with so many Queens out, the creep gets replaced quickly, and now Dark can continue to send this all over the place with no real issue. And that creep really is going to be beneficial to him, getting out in front of the gold-based 4th, which he's starting to establish right now. He's going to be able to just have so much vision, just to be able to kind of stay very safe in this game, as we see the Viking over here starting to find himself a Overlord kill. He's actually picked up 2 kills already before the Mutas come in and shut him down. So Viking unfortunately falling does mean the end of that aggression from Bunny, but I mean, still 2 Overlords for the Viking is not bad. It obviously cleans up a lot of pathways, which means that it's a little bit more difficult for Dark to spot drops, etc. This one gets spotted right away anyways, though. And when you have Nubitas Carapace, you can replace them Overlords in positions nice and quickly anyways, so it isn't that big of a deal. Still 2 medevacs up to the top side, 2 medevacs in the center, and 2 medevacs to the right. Bunny really just looking towards drop-based playstyle to help him out going in towards the next stage of the game, to keep Dark busy while he sets up into a large army which he can push forwards with and really just make a larger push out of. A lot of Lings and Mutas committing themselves towards this natural expansion. At the same time, gold base under fire. Queens will come forwards with some Ling Bane. That will also be enough to push this back. And for now, once again, we do just see our Terran player being shut down. Dark is not letting him do too much damage. I mean, he's trading okay here and there, but that resources loss tab is increasing in favor of Dark right now, and that's kind of crazy, as Dark also taking this very far south base. It's an interesting choice for the 5th rather than the one just to the right hand side. I guess he feels this one's a bit easier to defend in terms of positioning of his army and where his army is mostly going to be compared to the one on the right. Interesting decision, intrigued to see how it plays out. It's not something I've seen so far here on Proxima Station. as a choice, as we're going to be seeing these Lings and Banes starting to run on forwards, and, well, Marines are just going to get caught a bit off guard. There's barely any splitting going on here from Bunny. The Mutas will come in as well, and they'll be able to hunt down these medevacs, and Bunny's supply is plummeting right now, as now we see him trying to get back in towards his natural expansion. He will get towards this choke point, which will help him for a few moments, but Lings and Banes will continue to roll on through, and Dark just has way too much to take to be shut down. Happening. There's not really a lot I can do apart from just sit and hope it gets a little bit better. To the bottom left hand side though, I read a Terran player from Dust Gaming. It is Bunny. And he is down a game right now in this best of 3 as he goes up against Dark, the purple Zerg, to the top right hand side of the map. So guys, there is going to be like a couple of drops here and there. It looks as, I mean, I just dropped the bitrate a bit more, which should help it to stabilize. But I'm not sure if it's actually just my overall connection that's maybe acting up right now, rather than just, you know, having too much bitrate on the uploads. It's definitely on my end though. Definitely 100% on my end, because I couldn't connect onto the game for a long time, so my net is just struggling a little bit here right now, guys. I do apologize. But with that said, we go into this game number 2. Obviously, I can only hope that it gets a little bit better. There's really nothing I can do right now about it, so I'll just leave it be, and hopefully lowering the bitrate maybe helps a little bit. Maybe it just stabilizes itself. Who knows what the answer will be, but hopefully it's going to be a bit better. Again, it should only be dropping for maybe 2 or 3 seconds at a time, so obviously it's not ideal, but hopefully it isn't completely unwatchable for you guys. Hopefully you can still enjoy the games for the most part. As we do see Overlord just coming down the right-hand side of the map here from Dark. One already going up towards the top left-hand side. Just scouting early, trying to find out where his opponent is, trying to figure out what's happening in the early stages. No real surprises, no real shocks. It's very standard stuff here as we see the command center coming down on the natural expansion. Virgin for Business is amazing. I can't choose my internet. So I currently cast from like an office center, like a business center. So I just have to have whatever internet they have, which is very good internet. It's very good internet. It's just sometimes, for some reason, it's just a little bit unstable. So there's nothing I can do about it while I cast from this location, which is kind of where I have to cast from, because I've got nowhere else I can go to cast. I can't cast from home anymore, so yeah. And it's 100% my internet. 100% my internet, because I can see myself, the frame is dropping on XSplit, so. Anyways, with all that said, we're going to see these couple of Lings chasing down this SCV, and the opening here this time from Bunny, not going to be the 2-1-1, instead he is going to go for that bit of a faster factory opening. So, setting up into that factory reactor will finish very soon as well. I'm just going to see a couple of Zerglings start to nibble away at this command center. So, a little bit of damage being done right now. Nothing too crazy though. And Dark just sets on up with his Ling speed about to finish. It was gas pool hatch once again. So, Dark just likes to do this, just every single game, gas pool hatch. It doesn't really make much of a difference from hatch gas pool. You get a slightly earlier Ling speed. In terms of worker count, it actually keeps you pretty similar to hatch gas pool. You end up kind of a couple of workers behind. Not too much though. Because the thing is, you don't really cut drones or anything to go gas pool hatch. You just go, you know, you're making the same amount of stuff as you do with hatch gas pool. It's just the order of the hatchery that is a bit different. So your second queen's a bit later. But other than that, it's very similar to the hatch gas pool sort of opening. Now you do see the third hatchery coming down from Dark as well. So he's going to set this up over to the right hand side. The medevac on the way out right now from Bunny as he goes into a cloak follow-up as well. So he's looking to drop some Hellions initially, then maybe into like a Cloak Banshee Hellbat based attack afterwards. Let's see how it does develop as we see these few Hellions going to start heading towards the center and may continue up towards the upper right hand side. Also the possibility that the Cloak is just a little bit of a fake, so that when he scouts in here, he's going to scout at the perfect time to see the medevac popping out. Oh, yeah, he should see that. So I think Dark has seen what this is. I mean, there should be a Banshee follow-up anyways. This is a build we've been seeing quite a lot of as of late. It's a good way to set up aggressively and just trying to slow the Zerg player down. And, you know, there's a few different options as a follow-up as well if we really want to. Bunny could play mech. If he doesn't want to play mech, he can definitely transition into bio as well. But obviously, he'll have a much later stim pack and so on. But that's, you know, that's fine. That's something we've always seen in TVZ, kind of taking a later stim pack in favor of harassing earlier and slowing the Zerg's economy down in other ways. Gonna be seeing these few Hellions going to drop down, and Immediately Zergling's in position to deal with this. When you see the medevac as early as Dark did, you're obviously going to have units in position, and you're obviously going to be expecting this, which is what's happened just here. We're going to see at the same time Hellion's trying to hit the third, but nothing in position there to, well, nothing in position to be killed. He could have killed some lava, but immediately Dark's made them into Zerglings, so even the lava stay alive right now as more Hellions to the right-hand side. Still Hellions in the main, and obviously they're going to be looked to morph into Hellbats to be a nuisance very soon. We will see +1 mech weapons, and it is now going to be confirmed that Bunny is more or less going to be playing mech here throughout this game, pushing forwards into the center of the map. Going to start morphing in these Hellbats, and well, there's mostly only Zerglings to kind of deal with this, but there's also the Queens too, and I mean, there's a lair up as well, right? So you can get an Overseer to deal with the Banshee. Yeah, there's one already chasing it down. This doesn't look as though there's going to be very much done. The Hellion that's actually a little bit out in the open gets taken down as well, and Bunny just doesn't find a way to do anything just yet, and so Dark can continue on, you know, however he wants to. We do see the Spire starting up from Dark as well now in the natural expansion, so he starts up the Spire. With the Spire on the way, he's going into a very similar setup to the last game. However, obviously a very different way of playing from the Terran player, so question becomes kind of when does Dark recognize this? When does he start to react? And when does he start to play a little bit differently because he's playing against mech rather than the bio we saw in game number 1? So that's what we're sort of looking towards right now in terms of what is Dark doing. I mean, for now, I mean, it is just +1 melee. I mean, obviously a bit different. Last game went +1 carapace. That could be because of the fact he sees the Hellbats, so he may want to kind of get the +1 up to deal with that. And the problem for Dark is he sees this many Hellions and Hellbats here. He actually drops Queens across the map. Wow, well that's intriguing. I mean, the Queens, I guess, can do a bit of damage. I mean, he's picking off some SCVs, so the Queen drop is actually going to be pretty effective here. Lifts up and backs away. Yeah, I mean, it works out. It definitely works out. 100% it works out. But it's very, very strange. You can see the Queen's dropping back down once again. And SCV is pulling away to the sides. And Hellbats and the Banshee coming in once more. We're going to see the Banshee shot down. Another dropping Overlord getting set up and ready to go. Zergling's trying to run in towards the third base. And they do force it to lift. Dark's pressure is actually... I mean, it's working for him, you know. He's actually putting on enough pressure to do some damage and just to slow the Terran player down. Why he's trying to play this mech, you know, trying to play this mech opening. And if Banshees keep on dying, well, I mean, these are expensive units to be losing, so it's working out. Marine goes down, another Hellbat's very low over here. Zerglings are going to force the lift on this third base still. I mean, the Hellbat's starting to clean those up finally, but this is still going on. Here comes a 4 to help out as well, but another Banshee's already gone down, the other one very low. Eventually just gets turned away. But, wow, crazy stuff. Now, Dark only makes 6 Mutalisks, so he's not going to overcommit to Mutas too much. Does he have a few more? Actually, yes, he does. So he's going to have, what, 11? He's going to have these 11 Mutas or so, but after these 11 Mutas, it seems as though he's going to move in towards Roach-based play. So he's not going to keep on building Mutas. He's just going to harass with these a bit while setting up and just distract the Terran while he sets up into that next stage of this game, which is going to be Roach-based. And he's going to see this Overlord picking up the few Queens and moving away to the side. We're going to see a couple of SCVs starting to go down here as well as the 4 fires away, though. And with the 4 coming out early, he is going to be able to push those Mutas away without too much of an issue. So Mutas jumping in towards the main. We're going to be seeing SCVs starting to go down, and well, they are going to drop down pretty quickly there. Going to see the Vikings still doing a little bit more damage. And the Muta's going to pull away through the south side of the map, back towards the center. So the Muta's pulling back for now. And still just going to see this Overlord kind of moving through the center a little bit. Queen's dropping down once again for a few moments. And a few more Roaches just building up the Lings as well. Let's continue to set up into this. Figure the Hellbats moving forwards, and these Queens will continue to take a little bit of damage right now. So Queen's taking a few shots of damage, and 1 or 2 of them might go down. Just the one for now. The other one just staying alive here at the very, very edge of its life. But here come the Roaches, and well, how prepared is Bunny for Roaches? He's got 1 tank out. He's got a couple tanks out and a couple more building. I mean, it's okay. It's not bad. He could just definitely do with a little bit more. 3rd tank, okay then. I mean, it's going to be an interesting fight because Dark, he's got a bit of Roach Ravage. It's not too much. It's definitely manageable. It'll be interesting to see how the Mutas come into play at the same time. Obviously, he wants to try and distract with the main army. Also, swoop in with the 4s. Swoop in with Mutas, maybe when the 4s get pulled out of position. And see what's going to happen is we do see Roaches, Ravages, Banes pulling down to the bottom left-hand side. A few Vikings up in the sky as well. I'm just going to see these units pushing on forwards. Hellions moving the Hellbats. Takes them a little while to set this up as the tanks now do siege. Mutas trying to come in from the back, but the 4 is still there. He actually takes a lot of damage on those Mutas as Bunny I think he's going to start cleaning out these Roaches and Ravagers. Honestly, the Vikings do land, and you see those Ravagers starting to be target fired down. And now pulling back in towards the center of the map. Lings and Banes from Dark gathering together as well. Up to 4 bases back at home. But that wasn't a great fight from him. You know, that was actually very beneficial for Bunny, I would say, for the most part. Resources lost, very Bunny favored. So Bunny looking pretty good after the first kind of real skirmish between the armies here. Going to move into the center now, and this could be Dark's opportunity. Jump on this army while it's on siege and all the rest of it as well. A few Prosopars coming down, some Banes will connect as well. And again, it's a bit of a better fight from Dark, a bit of a smaller fight, which I think is generally always going to be better for him. You see the mutas coming in from the back also, and they're starting to pick up some reinforcements. And Viking coming in. Is there still a 4 at the third base? No, there is not. Where's that 4 gone? It's left and over here, so it is with the main army. Which means the mutas may want to try and go back and harass these bases, but there's only so many of them left over. 6 is not really enough to kind of fight against single turrets and mineral lines. So it's not exactly the best of numbers here from our Zerg play to kind of really do much with. As Dark just going to try and keep on engaging to try and slow this down. Some Prosopars here and there to trade with the tanks while he loses maybe a Ravager or so from the shots. Still using the mutas to pick off at reinforcements. Everything he's doing is all about pulling the Terran player back and keeping him in a pinned back sort of position. You know, keeping him busy, keeping him kind of back at home. But now the mutas are going to start going down to these Vikings, and we see the Terran player is starting to take a bit of a better position up on this high ground. And I think Dark doesn't have really much of a choice other than to fight in. He's going to come for the full surround. Is it going to be enough, though? I mean, a lot of tanks starting to go down very quickly up on the high ground. A couple of Prosopars going to try and help out too. And well, now the Vikings land as well. But Dark supply is dropping heavily, as we do see drones being roasted as well by a couple of Hellbats. And it feels as though Dark's 4th base is about to be taken down here in the next couple of moments. 4s will start to fire onto it. And now the Vikings as well actually going to be a lot of help on the ground. Vikings do a surprising amount on the ground nowadays. And yeah, with only Roaches really here, I don't even think he can get through these 2 4s. Let's see though, some Ravagers finish up as well. He'll push on 4s. The corrosive bars drop down, and they do land on the army. He'll pick off 1 4 now, and can he get the other? Gets the siege tank on the high ground. Has to pull back once again. Dark still just trying to hang on in here, but it's so difficult for him. He gets another 4. No, he doesn't, because it lifts up. Nice micro out of Bunny to make the most of this once again. And he's continuing to push on forwards, and it looks as though Bunny is going to have just about enough to clean this up. A few more Roaches and Ravagers still trying to push on forwards. And, well, actually, Bunny's going to get shut down here, apparently. Wow. So Dark's going to push this back. Bunny losing quite a lot towards the very end. Wow, complete. I really thought Bunny had enough to push through that, but actually Dark stays alive. Keeps his base alive too. I mean, doesn't suddenly get into a better position or anything, but I mean, being alive is better than being dead right away, obviously, so that's a big benefit, as we do see. A couple of Crucibles still just dropping here and there. Drones going in towards this base right now, and you see a few Roaches and a Ravager from Dark pulling in towards the center of the map. They're still looking around to see what they can get up to in the near future. So, I mean, the thing is, what do you do though as Dark at this point? You're very far behind. You're very nearly killing this 4 Medivac, but not quite. So that's still something you have to worry about as well. I mean, your Terran player opponent is on 4 bases. He's got a mech army, and you haven't even got Hive Tech yet. I mean, I guess Dark's best idea right now is to go in towards a Hive. And as he goes in towards Hive, and well, obviously he's already going towards Hive, but I think his best hope is to get into Hive and just try and defend until he gets up some Vipers and so on. And just try and play that kind of later game army now. Just try and play it once again. And we've seen these Roaches, Ravagers. Eventually clean up those Hellions. 4 Hellions, though, I mean, they were one-shotting those Hydras that were popping out. And that's expensive, you know, losing a couple Hydras to some Hellions. That's not exactly how you want your day to go. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Hive will finish here very soon, so Hive continue to come on in. We'll finish very shortly, actually, as we see these few Hellions from Bunny coming down the right-hand side, and just thinking about where they might want to go. We see the few Ravagers from Dark looking to set up as well to maybe try and get something done in the very near future. Viper's starting up. I mean, that Hive is finished up, so this is where Dark wants to be. I mean, this will be the composition he wants to get towards. Vipers and so on added in with the Ravagers, Roaches, and Hydras. So let's see what will happen. Is just going to be seeing these units coming up through the top side. I'm just going to start pushing into Dark's 5th base. Now, I don't think there's a way Dark holds this base, right? I mean, the entire army of bunnies over here in Dark, well, he actually has a lot of units out of position. A few to the right-hand side defending some Hellions, a few moving down to the south side, where actually this orbital command center might be in a little bit of trouble. Space at the top does get taken down, and you're going to be seeing the corrosive bars dropping, so orbital command taking a little bit more damage. Will he actually get the kill on it, though, I guess is the question. It's going to get very low. I don't think it'll die, but still, I mean, denying the base from mining is something. I mean, it's Dark making some progress in a game that he really wasn't looking to be in a great spot in at all, you know. In fact, I mean, this game looked terrible for Dark if we if we're just going to be brash about it. This looked really, really bad for him completely. So, I mean, the fact he's still in this is impressive on its own. Let's see if he can, again, I mean, he's hitting the later game army, right? So, he's getting towards the tools he needs to really fight against this. He's going to start diving in and out once again here with his army to try and, you know, take those fights, which maybe he picks off like a tank or so and then backs away, and another tank and then backs away again. Some corrosive bar is actually going to get a few tanks here, so far, Dark is still playing pretty well as these units continue to come up towards the upper right-hand side. More Ravagers morphing in as well, as Dark sets up a new 5th base, this time to the south side of the map. Does he only have the one Viper? Oh my god. That one Viper is so crucial right now, yet all the Vikings are going to be targeting it. I don't actually know if one Viper is going to be enough. I thought he had a few more. He's obviously just been focusing on kind of unit production. Big spread of mech army here for our Terran player. And I mean, what does Dark do against this? Well, I mean, it's not impossible to deal with. I mean, to be fair, actually, he can just go around it because it's only really holding the center of the map. He needs to defend his 5th base, though. He really does need the 5th base to come up because otherwise he's going to be mining out all over the place, and that definitely won't help him out. We do see the drone stays alive, so that's something. At least he can rebuild it nice and quickly. Because the sooner he gets that, the better, as we see, oh no, the Hellions find a lot of the drones over here. Now they get cleaned up, but that was pretty scary. Planting forwards to the top side. Again, I feel as though Dark, I mean, what do? Can you fight into the central position? Well, probably not. So where do you go? Like, around the top? I mean, you could probably pick off this base before you, you know, got killed. You can see the scan coming in now, and that's just Bunny trying to identify where this army is. He's saying, well, are you up at the top side? Are you down to the south? You know, what is going on for you right now? What is happening? I want to know where your army is and all the rest of it, so... Nice scan from Bunny, just sees that, as you're going to see the Ravagers coming through the top side, and we'll start to push on in towards this planting forwards. I like this, because Bunny is so far out of position, which means that he's not been, despite the scans, he's not been doing a good enough job on keeping track of where his opponent is. The Ravagers take down this planetary fortress. A few tanks sieging up here, but this is a fight that Dark can maybe even take. I mean, there's a lot of tanks. Oh man, these Ravagers get annihilated by these siege tanks. It's kind of insane. Plus 3 weapons on them crushes this. And this is only kind of like such a low siege tank count as well. That's crazy. Wow. Well, I mean, the tanks finally go down, but if that amount of tanks did so much damage, how much damage is this amount of tanks going to do with Vikings and Fours to back it up as well? You're going to see this is starting to become a little bit of a base trade here from our Zerg player as the Terran players across the map starting to take down Zerg bases. Dark. He's going to lose the Ravagers though, and that's just going to mean he doesn't have enough. GG. Guys, let's jump into game number 3. Let's see what's going to happen. We're 2 minutes in, but you haven't missed much at all. It's just Bunny to the top left-hand side, the red Terran player from Does Gaming. He's just expanding. And down to the bottom right-hand side, our purple Zerg player, Dark. Well, he is expanding too, off of the gas pool hatch yet again. So, pretty much the same build as what we saw earlier. We're once again going to see a factory-based opening out of Bunny right now. So sign up the factory-based opening right away here. Just going to set this up and see where he can go. Again, what's up everyone in the chat? How you all doing? What's up, Surgery25? How you doing today? Hope you're having a good time. As we just look to see how this is going to go. It looks as though the internet stabilized, by the way, guys. As far as I can see, we haven't had any more drops during that last game, so hopefully it's all a little bit better for you guys now. And again, apologies for that. Obviously, it always sucks when we have a few issues like that we can't really do too much about. Factory going to land onto the reactor, and the barracks will move on to a tech lab. Starport already building. And there's Bunny going for a very similar build to the last game so far, so we'll see how far this goes for him. See how much he commits in towards the same sort of playstyle, and if he's going to play mech once again rather than bio. So we'll keep our eyes on all of this. And you see this Overlord is moving on up towards the upper left-hand side. You'll see an Overlord here from Dark, just sat as well, looking to see what is what's up and what's happening. Nothing too crazy though just yet, as we wait to see what Game 3 will really kind of develop into. It is Abyssal Reef. Reaper sees the third hatchery coming down as well. A few zones will come in, clean up that Reaper right now. But yeah, it's Abyssal Reef, which means it's a pretty large map. Mech can definitely work on this map. A lot of choked up areas, very easy 3 and then 4 bases to take, which are, for Mech, very easy to defend because you can just sit in front of the 4th base and more or less defend all of your bases. Maybe apart from the 3rd base from this left-hand side, but you don't have to spread out too far to kind of take a good economy early to build that Mech army up with. Crossing the map is a little bit long, but again, it's very choky, so when you do get across the map, any sort of siege position is going to be very difficult to break, although there is a lot of counterattack pathways you would have to be aware of as well. So, a few different pros and cons for you guys to think about in terms of what mech play might consist of here. And just to preface this, just in case it is mech, you can have a bit of an idea of what we're maybe looking to see happen as the game goes by and all the rest of it as well. Reaper hops up in towards the main as we do see a few Zerglings and a Queen. We're going to finally shut this down. The Hellions to the right hand side not doing a lot. Was there a medevac made? There was indeed, and it is coming over here to lift those Hellions up and to see what he can do. Already a few Lings in the main base though, the Queen here as well. Will it be enough? Because actually he's probably going to unload just... no, he's going to be able to reposition. He should be in location to shut this down then. Doc sees it immediately and Hellions going to be surrounded right from the get-go, so they have no choice other than to lift up and back away right away. Here we've seen these Hellions going to start dropping once again, and Hellbat's just going to be dropping down and getting ready to try and fight against this third hatch. So a little bit more damage being done. Medevac took a lot of damage though, it means that he can't really do too much more with this. We'll try and bring some Hellbats forwards. I mean, the Cloak Banshee coming up as well. Where is that Banshee right now? There it is. Hasn't really done much either, and that's because Dark has made a lot of Ravages, and he's going for like an instant counterattack here. So, Dark with a build which is going to be very aggressive. I'm a little bit blind not to have seen this coming. I was paying too much attention to the Hellions, but he's going to break through the wall, and well, I guess the idea is that he's going to try to kind of, just kind of shut this down while there isn't too much for the Terran player to defend with. Dark has a lot of money in the bank though, so that doesn't look too great for him as these Zerglings, the Roach and the Ravager, well, they move around to see where they can go. Going to go over to the left-hand side here, going to see this SCV getting taken down in a moment or so. A couple of Corrosive Bars again, and you see a couple of those Hellbats taking some shots. And the Banshee's coming in to help clean up as well, so overall, Dark's going to get cleaned up. This didn't really work out for him. Another drone being built. And, yeah, there's going to be seeing a few Roaches just in the center of the map as well, so a few Roaches in the center, a couple of Queens over to the right-hand side. And the lair is about halfway done as well. So lair about halfway done. I'm just going to be seeing the Banshees coming down the left to see what's happening. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Dark went for this aggressive build, and the problem with this aggressive build is that there's Banshees out, and the Banshees do a pretty good job of cleaning up. And honestly, the Hellbats pulled back in plenty of time as well to really help out too. And you're going to see now some drones starting to be picked away at. So a few drones already going down here, 3 of them dead. Bunny, obviously, we'll just want to keep on attacking. He's down by about 6 workers, but Dark was down for a little while overall, so it's okay for Bunny right now. He's going into mech weapons, which means once again mech will be the playstyle. 2 factories already telling us that, of course. Once those factories drop on down, we'll see what this follow-up is going to entail then. So, obviously it's going to be mech from Bunny, but what is Dark going to do this time around? He's going into Roach, he's going into +1. I feel as though the skipping of the Mutalisk is going to be a big benefit to him. Last game, I wouldn't say the Mutalisk really did a lot. I mean, I guess eventually they did pick off a few tanks, they did kill a few SCVs, and they did slow the Terran player down. I don't know if they did enough to justify the Mutas though, because Mutas are this unit which are expensive, and just trading out a couple of tanks, I'm not sure if that was really enough for them to kind of justify how much they kind of, they cost Dark, and how much they slowed Dark down in terms of getting up enough Roach Ravager to really start fighting. And obviously it just slows down your later game tech as well. It makes your Hive much later, and if your Hive is much later against mech, then your life is very, very difficult, I guess. Roaches just continue to do little bits and pieces here and there, doing a little bit more of a cleanup. I mean, just a couple of Hellbats around the place, but nothing too exciting. Overlord gets shot down, unfortunately, as the high ground vision comes in and the 4s are here as well. Viking helping out with that, and Viking will continue on the map to try and find some further Overlords. Dog does have one over here that Viking might turn around and try and find if Bunny's paying attention to his mini-map. Doesn't look as though he is. Maybe he was, though. Maybe he's going to come down here now, and looks as though he'll find this one in the end. Again, no Pneumatess Carapace means that this Overlord, unfortunately, is going to die. He had a good life, though. He got to see he got to develop underwater breathing, and he was able to kind of explore Abyssal Reef. It's not something every Zerg gets to do, as apparently this map is underwater. Still confuses me a little bit. You know, everything acts as though it's above water until it dies, and then it starts floating upwards. It's crazy how the world works in Abyssal Reef. It really is. Gonna see a couple of queens gonna be pushing forwards, and some creeps starting to come on down. Viking up the left-hand side, just looking to see where it can go, and a couple of depots to kind of wall off over to the left-hand side as well. A little bit of a roach run by. We'll try and do some damage. Obviously, little things like this is generally very good against mech. The more mobile composition. Problem is, on just the 3 bases apiece, well, 3 bases for the mech player at least, I guess the 4th base is up for the Zerg player now. But on the 3 bases, the Terran player is going to have no issue at all defending against little roach run-bys. Like, his army is going to be in position. There's no way these roaches are going to do much. But there's Tunneling Claws and Burrow coming into play. And those are some upgrades which might allow Dark to be successfully aggressive right now. Roaches burrowing forwards and, well, seeing what they can do. Queens in the center starting to push back some of these Hellions. Scans coming down and the Creeper being cleaned up as, yeah, Roaches splitting up. Actually, Missile Turret just coming up now over to this right-hand side. As Roaches are kind of all over the place, I guess. A few of them go into the natural, some in the main. I'm going to start working their way through some of these SCVs. Banshees at the same time trying to fight in the 4th base, and Hydra's doing their job to try and help out. One of them dying and floating up into oblivion. Most of these roaches getting cleaned out then, so not too much damage done. I mean, a couple of SCVs killed, but nothing game-ending, nothing too crazy. Dark, now with 4 Vipers on the way as well. His Hive Tech finish is also going into a Lurker Den. And this is just the Dark we didn't get to see in the last game, because again, maybe it was the Mutalisk, maybe he was just too committed to the roaches, but we never got to see him really hit the later game composition that's designed to fight against the mech army. And that was really kind of, you know, that was detrimental to him back then, so hopefully it's a little bit better for him now, and hopefully it's something which can really help him. As you see, this army starting to push on through the center of the map. Hellbats, tanks, and a couple of 4s, some Vikings up in the sky with the Banshees as well, moving around to see where they can go. Scan will come down, the Roach will get picked off. I'm just going to be seeing the +3 mech weapons from Bunny on the way up as well. +1 vehicle armor coming up too. And still these Roaches and Hydras sort of moving up the left-hand side to see where they can get to over the next couple of moments. So we're going to see where they can go. The Roaches and Hydras are going to start working their way through these rocks. And rocks are going to start taking quite a bit of damage. So rocks get taken down. A few Roaches continue up the left-hand side now. And they're going to start working their way through this command center. So it's going to be a cancel right away from Bunny. But Bunny's army in the middle of the map is a scary force to be reckoned with. But that said, there is a lot of Vipers here, and those, Parasitic Bomb to start pushing the Vikings back a little bit. In fact, another couple of Parasitic Bombs do a very nice job, but he loses 2, actually just 1 of the Vipers. Well, that's not so bad. A bit more energy and can maybe come in and blind and cloud. Not as many Vikings up any longer. A couple of transfuses on the Vipers could go a long way as well, if that's what he's going to use these Queens for. And there you do see the Vipers getting healed on up. Some Roaches across the map counter-attacking. They pop up underneath some tanks, which is going to be great, because now he can take down 3 of those. I mean, that's already a great trade, and he's still going to force Bunny to pay a bit more attention in terms of starting to deal with that. As, well, here we go. Abduct's going to be used here initially on the first few tanks that are forwards, and that's nice as well, because that's more or less just free pickings. And as we see the Vikings starting to be picked away by Queens and Hydralisks. Hellbats and tanks still sat towards the front. Another couple of tanks getting abducted forwards. So a couple more tanks getting abducted forwards here. These Hellbats continue to take a lot more damage right now. And a couple more tanks getting firing once again onto these Roaches. They're going to burrow and back away just a little bit here. And these Corruptors kill their own Extractor while trying to get some energy back. But I mean, the thing is, Bunny is, you know, not in a great spot right here. He's got very low money. He's not maxed out. Dark has 5k, 2k in the bank, and 80 drones, and he's got bases to mine from, and he's got a maxed out army that he's about to come in and fight with. He abducts the Vikings forwards, and that's going to actually save a lot of those Vipers, as well as just putting them into an even better position once again. Vipers continue to consume now to the right-hand side, and again, just consistently looking for kind of more and more fights in the near future. We saw some Roaches coming up, and they start underneath. Yes, they are. They're going to scan, though. And that's going to be a scan which actually is able to pick off those Roaches. A little bit unfortunate for Dark. Another couple of moments and he might have made the attack happen, because I think he's getting ready to fight right now. So that's a little bit unlucky that he loses the Roaches underneath. The trap which he set was unfortunate. You can see another tank in siege. We're going to be seeing the Hellbats pulling in towards the center once again. Actually, a couple of units getting picked off here as tanks going to siege once again. And Dark just playing this slow and steady, and honestly, against mech, slow and steady does tend to win the race. I mean, he's not playing as slow as the turtle, or tortoise, or whatever it was, but he's playing slow, he's playing slow enough to not just die, but he's playing fast enough to also just keep on picking away at these units and to get rid of everything. And pushing forward is now a bit of a larger fight from Doc. He's happy to commit in. He's got units to the top side as well, and he's just going to shut this down. As he actually did a nice little burrow on the Hydras there to keep them alive a bit longer, perhaps. He's got more units streaming on him, though. That's the thing. Dark had the bank to remax, and you can see it in the supplies. 179 to 109. Now 187 to 109. It's so good a position for Dark to play from. He's going to get rid of one more siege tank here as well. There's one Hydra, unfortunately, a bit too far forwards, but again, he's remaxed. He's going to get forwards here in a moment or two. He's going to have way too many units, and there's just no way Bunny's going to find a way to defend against this. No way at all. Vikings, tanks, they're going to keep on moving towards the upper left side. They're going to gather themselves together. And Bunny looks as though he's just going to be kind of out of answers. Only a couple of tanks on the map for him at the moment, and I mean, Doc knows how good a fight that was for him, and he knows it's his time to push across the map and to get some more damage done. We're going to see tanks sieging, and Roche is just going to keep burrowing forwards just to close the gas, close the distance. He's not even unburrowing them. I guess he's just using them as kind of tank fodder, just just soaking up some damage. Dog pushes in. It's not the prettiest of trades. It's pretty messy, actually. No Vipers to help out, but he doesn't need them because his sheer number of units will be more than enough to break through this position. Won't break the planetary fortress down. Doesn't have to. He's just going to head towards the natural and end this game.